okay? So there's healthy fear, because healthy fear means when there's a fire, I don't put my finger in it, okay? But there is fear that holds us back. Now, it might be impossible to remove the fear voice in your head, okay? But you can manage it. Every day when I'm about to get on to in front of a camera, my heart starts pounding, my feet start shaking, and a voice starts telling me, you can't do it. You're going to mess up. You're not good enough, and that sort of thing. And you need to tell, and I have to tell that voice, you're wrong. I can do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish it. I'm happy. I'm going to finish this well. And I step up onto the stage, onto the platform, with that voice still making noise, but now I've pushed it behind me and I'm able to perform. That is part of life, and you need to be aware of that. The second thing is for life lesson. Now I've expanded it because I was told to speak about career and life. A good reputation is more valuable than money. A good reputation can be deposited in a bank. Where we are right now, employers are looking at your reputation. They are searching your social media platforms. Some of the big companies are even hiring people to search for your background. I know of companies where they will even interrogate your past qualifications. Did you say you graduated from Kenyatta University with an undergraduate in this? They will go to KU and they will ask. And what happens if they find that you cheated? What happens if they find that you falsified documents? Your reputation in this world that we live in, a world of social media where nothing stays hidden, is more important than money. Guard your reputation as best as you can. Do what is right to ensure that you protect your reputation. Your reputation could be the reason why Eugene recommends you for a training. Your reputation could be the reason why a certain someone somewhere recommends you. I come for this talk because the reputation of Eugene has stood out. I have watched him. I have observed him. I can see he's going somewhere. When he calls me, I know it's not a waste of my time. I know he's gathered focused people. I know we are going somewhere. Your reputation is worth more. Guard it. Guard your reputation on social media. Be careful what you post. Don't post. Let social media not become a place of your therapy. Are you angry? Go and play football. Are you angry? Go and swim. Go and do something. Don't take your anger to social media. Don't take your problems to social media. Your followers don't love you. In fact, some of them are just saving those things up to use against you. Use your social media the way you operate. How do I explain it? Knowing that the internet never forgets. We know when Facebook was new, I used to write how I was feeling sad, feeling low. It was like therapy. In hindsight, I don't think that was very wise, because social media, they are not your friends. We are lied to that they are your friends, your real friends. You can count on. If you have more than 10 real friends, then I find it hard to believe. So the people on social media are just people going through life like you, going through their own problems. Don't give them a reason to mess your reputation by the things you post. Be very careful, especially on TikTok. Don't run carelessly into this content creation space. You don't know what your future holds. You want to make sure that everything you post, you can defend even 5-10 years from now. Because the world has become very keen when it comes to looking at what's on social media and what's happening in the same space. Very quickly, the last two. You never stop losing until you stop trying. So whatever you are doing, as long as you believe God led you to do it, don't stop trying. Failure is final when you stop, okay? But failure is temporary if you keep moving. And for me, any failure I've experienced, as long as I keep moving, it's temporary. Do not stop. The final thing I want to say is that your mind is very, very powerful. Your mind is so powerful. It is the platform that God uses to drive you to your purpose and to speak to you. It is the platform that your whole body depends on your mind for instructions, for guidance. You need to rule your mind. You need to find ways to master your mind. I think of people who go to the gym and you're tired, but I've met people who they're tired, but they still wake up. They still go to the gym, whether it's raining, whether the sun is shining. What have they learned? They've learned how to rule their minds. For me, I'm on a journey to rule my mind. I haven't gotten there yet. Sometimes it's raining and I want to sleep. But I've met people for whom, once they have decided that they're going in a particular direction, you cannot stop them. And I think we need more people like that. Somebody once said that the life you've dreamt of is beyond a couple of things. One, it's beyond your fear. Okay? So the life that you dream of in God, again, I say in God, is beyond your fear. So you have to cross your fear to get there. The life that you dream of, two, is beyond your comfort zone. And number three, the life that you dream of is beyond your mind. Your mind might not even be ready now for the life you're dreaming of unless you shape it in that direction. The last thing, and Eugene, I see you're ready to take over. Commit your plans to God. Okay? Man plans, but God has the final say. Okay? And there are many scriptures to that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, he will make your path straight. One of my favorite scriptures from Psalms 127, and it's been one for my life, is, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who built it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchmen stay awake in vain. I then say, unless the Lord does this for Wahiga, it's all futile. And for me, that has kept me going. Thank you so much for your time. I'll stop there. I hope I've been clear and made sense. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Wahiga. That's so insightful. And what a joy when it's coming from the heart and from the life that you have lived. It sounds so different when someone is giving you theories and imaginative kind of ideas, but it sounds different when it's coming from your heart and, just trying to get this experience and what you have experienced as an individual. So we truly, truly appreciate. I think at this point in time, we will be jumping into the question and answer session. And there are quite a number of comments that are coming in. Just guys saying thank you for what you have shared at the moment. As for me and the Unlock Young Leaders Summit team, we are feeling happy with the 100 of you here and some who are following online. We are not feeling sad with 59 others, and there's so much to talk about concerning this topic, Wahiga, and you have made it so palatable for this moment. And there are a few questions that people are asking as they were registering for this session. And one of course, you have answered the majority of those questions, but someone was telling me, what someone actually commented, and he said, I will just read it as it is. He said, I am a few miles to graduating and I can't contain the anxiety about the joblessness we already have as a country. Looking forward to hear from Wahiga on what his advice will be to young people in this generation, especially at this harsh economic and socio-political season in navigating through career life. And it looks like there's so many odds against us. Is there any promising kind of a thing that someone can build a career in this season and really survive the altitudes of what it is to survive in this country? Because someone was actually asking me, or I just go abroad, I look for scholarship and go abroad. I don't know what you have to say about that, because you've also talked about managing our fears, and sometimes we are really muffled in this thing called fear. How was it for you? How was it for you in terms of just stepping out into the marketplace?
Yeah, those are multiple questions in one. I'll try and answer them as best as I can. One is that I don't blame anyone who is ready to do anything legal to make it. That's how we are hardwired. One,
Sure.
okay? Whether, and some of you are going to prosper in Kenya, some of you are going to prosper abroad. Now, of course, there are some realities, and those realities, our statisticians and our leaders speak to them all the time. We have, I think, over 1 million people we are turning out into the job market every year, and the job market is not creating enough jobs. So I always get into such discussions very aware that for a lot of people, their CVs may not be responded to. There are various challenges that they may face. So one of the things, and it's a hard question to answer because circumstances are different. Some of you might study courses that are really opening up and you might get an opportunity. Others might study courses that are really saturated and there are no possibilities. One of the reasons I love the internet, even though I mentioned that it has its own challenges, is because it has created many opportunities. I'm grateful for all the content creators out there who have not had to wait sending a CV to an uncle to Saidia them, but through platforms, through initiatives like this one and others, even Eugene, like what he's doing, have been able to earn a living. So to answer the question of can we make it, it is possible to make it in Kenya. It is also possible to make it out there. What I can say is that it is possible to make it in Kenya, but because there are fewer jobs, one must work twice as hard. That's a reality. But can I also say about life out there, abroad and whatever and everywhere, the grass is also not always greener on the other side. So wherever you are, you must have that balanced understanding. And of course, it makes sense to say, I'm going to try get a job in Kenya for a year or two. And if I don't get, I'm going to try and go abroad. There's nothing wrong with that. For me, when I was graduating, and that was in 2007, of course, one could say that maybe there were more jobs then. Yes. I think there was the economy had kind of begun to open and that sort of thing. But even then it was difficult to get a job. I remember, I'm grateful my first job was at a call center, and that was because call centers had just come into the country. And so there was a lot of ready jobs there. But there was a job that I had applied for in December, and they only called me for an interview in August. And I joined them in September. So it was difficult then. It's more difficult now. Of course, our population has grown and there are more challenges in regards to that. It was a fearful space. But for me, and also, I guess it was also frustrating when you meet friends who are doing very well after a short time out of campus and you are struggling, And one of the things I had to keep telling myself was, it's not a race. I'm not competing with you. In fact, for me, my desire was to find something that I enjoy, so that even if it doesn't pay what I wanted to pay, I at least have joy and impact in what I do. And if the money comes later on, I'll be very, very grateful. And of course, you need money to survive. I mean, I don't want to take that away. The reason we're even doing this talk is because people can afford bundles and that sort of thing. So there is hope. But one must think faster. One must think beyond, because in the 1970s, jobs were waiting for graduates at the doors of universities. Now they are not. Some of the sectors that I think are doing quite well is one, the startup scene seems to be doing quite well. If you're able to get into tech and go into startups and be able to raise funding for your company, of course, it's also one of those very networked fields. You need to be well networked. But if you get into a space like that, who knows what doors it could open. I see other people are going into different things. For the space of media, a lot of young people are getting into data journalism. Others are getting into content creation. They're going to create content on social media and make money. I can't answer for all of you. Is there hope? Yes. Do I have to push way, way harder than it was 10, 15 years ago? Absolutely. Can I go abroad? If you get a chance, why not? Is the grass always greener abroad? No. That is a ask many who have come back. And so with that balanced understanding, you have a more balanced perspective of life. Thank you.
Wow, insightful. And you know, there's something you mentioned about consistently be in the pedestal of learning and keep on growing your mind, growing yourself, and building yourself. I think that has really worked out for you. I don't know, like for you, did you have to again start another program, study again in terms of mass media and communication, now that you had a different course? And of course, as you talk about that, many of us, we really feel the weight of making some of these transitions and finding balance, you know, and how do you, of course, there is the whole aspect of praying and trusting God for that which you possibly trusting him in the place of work, promotion here and there. But what can we say to the young professionals who are just getting into the job market? And of course, there's the aspect of being patient and staying, bowing to the process of becoming, so that we don't again assign ourselves to the places where we have not prepared enough.
Yeah, the other day I saw a leading gospel artist announcing that she's celebrating her 30th anniversary in the field. Now, many of you here might be singers and you aspire to that level of fame. The good lady has put in 30 years into the industry. And I'm sure if you ask her, she still feels like there's more she can do, there's more she can learn. And when I looked at that poster that was circulating on social media, I asked myself, have I done 30 years? No. Have I done half of 30 years? Not yet. I'm still not there. And so my answer to those who are impatient for success is impatience is good because it fuels ambition, it fuels purpose if channeled in the right direction. Mm-hmm. But please also note that depth in a field is grown through experience, and that experience takes time. And that time, you may not be paid exactly what you're hoping to be paid, okay? So if you want more money, you need experience. But if you need more experience, you need more time. And so you need to find some money to survive until you get the experience. It's a bit convoluted, but it is the reality of life. And so to restless and impatient young people, being restless can also be a good thing. I don't want to completely put it down, but aware that excellence in a field that leads to a sustainable income, it takes time. That artist will tell you, if you speak to her, that for a long time, she never earned from her trade. I watched an interview she did. But 30 years in, she's now in a completely different place. I'm not telling you that you must work for 30 years to live the life you've desired, not at all. But yeah, some of you have already guessed who that is. But I also want to say that there is a lesson about people who are tried and tested, have gone through that path of refinement, because you can't take that away from them. No matter what you want to say about that artist, you cannot downplay their experience. You cannot downplay their excellence because of the time that they have been in and the time that they've put in. For me, part of the reason why I went back to school to do a master's in communication was because I did not just want to be gifted in practical, but also in theory and in the field. And also there is something about learning. You know, I told you you have to keep learning. Even I have to keep learning. And one of the things I'm hoping to invite some of you here for at the end of this year is my graduation after a very long time of being in school. And I'll share a lesson about resilience and restarting after you've given up on something. That one we'll discuss in December. I'm sure it will be a story in a blog, because I'm going to have to write on my social media about it. So keep learning. I went back to school. If you go back for a short course, if you can get someone to mentor you or to train you, keep learning. It is completely and totally invaluable. And do not get frustrated if you don't get your fruits or your fruit as quickly as you had anticipated. The world doesn't quite work. In fact, how did someone describe it? They said that my career path has not been upward trajectory. It's been sometimes a small dip, then a climb, then a little stagnation. Then sometimes that's how life might be. But the resilient ones will go through it. But when you look at it from afar, you can see that it is an upward trajectory. But when you get closer is when you see the highs and lows. So don't give up.
Wow, I think just to echo that, ladies and gentlemen, let's not give up. I think those that we have seen, who have gone before us, there's a work that they have put in, and we don't have to microwave success. You know, in this generation where we are living, where things are happening instantaneously, it is very what is the word? We can get ourselves to quick fixes where we think everything just have to happen within a snap. Let's be patient. Let's wait. Let's be patient with the process of making, because that has to happen. If you see, I've never had anybody who just woke up and say, "It just happened." Like, I just came into this office. I don't think that happens any moment. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if there is anyone who want to verbalize their question. You can just lift up your hand using the lift hand button. We are almost coming to a close. Mr. Edgar, there are a few questions in the chat box. I will just paraphrase through them, and then we'll just read through them quickly so that we're able to summarize them at the tail end. There's this one that I was trying to get here. Of course, there are so many thank you notes on the chat box. Guys are so grateful for that conversation. Emmanuel was asking, what role do you think technology and automation will play in shaping the job market for the future? And I think, just in addition to that, how can we gravitate and plan ourselves accordingly in line with that reality? There's another question here from Timothy. Timothy is asking a very interesting question. How can he negotiate promotion by his manager in terms of just trying to update his career journey as an individual? There's another one that I saw here. The thing about moral collusion. Someone possibly is here, and at some point they have messed up in terms of how they have, done stuff before, and possibly they'll love to morph and try, solve issues as far as morality is concerned. I don't know what you can say about that, because we saw it the other day. I think it was sometimes last year. I'm forgetting her name. She was nominated for a very top government job, but when they went to do a scrutiny, they realized she had talked badly against the very job position she was being called for. And sometimes, how do we really solve our past in terms of what we are looking forward in the future? There are two hands in the room. I'll just allow them to verbalize their question. Douglas Oma, if you're able to unmute yourself and just talk to us, we'd love to hear your question. Douglas, I think you've dropped your hand. Let's speak Timothy Ndegwa. Can unmute your mic.
Okay, hi everyone.
Hi to you, Timothy.
Yes, good to have you here. Good to have you here, and I'm really grateful for the session. I had to wait. I've been working through the day, but I realized if I made my way home, I'd have missed it. So my question, I had shared it early. I think Eugene had read it. I'm currently working at an organization called We Don't Have Time in the environment space, where we create awareness on the need to take care of the environment. So my question was, having this conversation on promotion can at times be tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a gray area. It's usually a gray area to operate. So I needed to get guidance on how do you go about it.
Okay.
Putting moderation of decorum in factor. Thank you.
I see. Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Timothy. Wahiga's noted that. Teddy, your hand is up. You can just also unmute your mic.
Hi, Eugene.
Hi to you, Teddy.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Wahiga for the session. My question was, personally, I'm working in a job. I would say that I don't particularly hate it, neither do I love it. I'm indifferent about it. So how would Wahiga advise someone in that situation where you are indifferent about your job? You don't hate it, neither do you love it, but it's something that you pursued and it's something that you are doing right now.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I think it's Simon Sinek who talks about liking your job and loving your job. I don't know, Wahiga, what do you think about that? I think you can add on this as you answer. Let's pick some more. Rebecca Onyango, can see your mic is before you. Let's pick up on Wafula. Your hand was up before. Wafula, you can just unmute. Wafula, are you there? All right, let's speak on Rebecca. Rebecca, you can go ahead.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
thank you, Mr. Wahiga, for the amazing session. I'm a student who's pursuing journalism, and I wanted to ask if you can give me any advice, yes, in regards to journalism as a course, career.
All right, thank you for that, Rebecca. I know Mr. Iga has noted that. Do we have any other hand? I can't see any other hand. Just in case I am missing on your hand, you can unmute your mic and ask the question. I think we'll just need to summarize all the questions. Wafula, you are back. You can just unmute your mic and speak. Wafula, I guess you're having issues with your internet. Okay, maybe I'll read one more question to you, Wahiga. Someone is asking here, if you had a rule, that is Viona, if you had a rule that you think everyone in this world should follow, what will it be? If you had a rule that you think everybody should follow, what will it be? Percy is also asking, after settling on journalism as your career path, what were the key indicators for you that influence your decision to transition from sports to political journalism and so on? Yeah. I think you can answer those for Mr. Iga so that we don't overburden you.
Good. Sadly, I did not note the first question. Whoever asked the first question, please post it in the group and start with this was the first question, just so that I can also tackle that. But to tackle some of the others, for you who is indifferent to your job, it's not a very good place to be. Because if you're indifferent to your job, it means you will not think of how you can stand out. You will not think of how you can add value. Rarely does indifference lead to good output. Even in a movie, rarely does the indifferent agent shine unless they're lucky. And we don't want to rely on luck in this world. What I tell people who are in jobs that they don't particularly enjoy is, can you either find a part of your job that you enjoy, so that becomes your focus and that which gives you joy, or can you create something within your job that can be of what's the word? That can bring joy. So if I'm a clerk, let me see, what can I say? So I worked in a bank before, and I'll be honest, the routine activities of serving clients, counting money got very boring for me after a while. But what I really enjoyed was speaking with customers, and I would maximize on that. And this speaking with customers eventually maybe led me into my career. And so indifference is not a good thing. You need to find out how you can either reinvent your job, reinvent yourself, find something to give you joy, because rarely do we try and improve on things that we are indifferent to. It doesn't happen. So I would I urge you, find something, you know. Some people get into jobs and leave them the same way. Some people get into jobs and transform those jobs. You even go above and beyond what your boss is asking you to do, or you take the job in a different direction. What will you do? Be my challenge to you today. If I had one rule in the world that everyone should follow, what would that be? That's very interesting. I mean, probably, you know, a golden rule would be to do unto others as you want them to do unto you. I think the world would be a better place. That sounds more like, so I will not cheat Eugene because I don't want Eugene to cheat me. I will not harm Eugene because I don't want Eugene to harm me. I will be fair to Eugene because I want Eugene to be fair to me. I will promote Eugene because I want him to promote me, and vice versa. And I will mentor Eugene. So that is one rule that I would ask the whole world to follow. So my transition to political journalism was actually a factor, a God factor. I never shy away from saying that. But secondly, there was a restlessness inside of me. And that's why, to tie this back, if you're indifferent to your job, be careful that you don't lose the restlessness, because the restlessness is what urges us to want to grow. When Eugene registers 100 people in a call, next time he wants 120. That is natural progression, okay? He should not be satisfied that the 100 become 80, 80 become 60, 60 become 20 as he continues. It means there's something wrong and he needs to reinvent himself. That is kind of how I was. I'd been a sports journalist for 7 years. I hadn't achieved everything. Maybe some would say I hadn't achieved much, depending on what you're looking at. But I had felt that the part of sports journalism I enjoyed, which was investigative, was limiting for me because I could only investigate sports scandals. And I wanted to be able to investigate many things and to tell wider stories. And so I broke out of sports because I was looking for the limitless possibilities of being able to tell stories across all genres. And so that actually began my transition to political journalism. I landed in political journalism because it was a political year. My transition was between 2016 to 2017. And also it affected me because that's where there was a gap. Sometimes in life, you take a job because there's an opportunity there, not necessarily because you want it. But once you get into the job, it is upon you now to reinvent the job or reinvent yourself. I'm a firm believer in that. There are jobs I've taken not because I wanted them, but because I wanted to get into that organization. I wanted to get into the next level. But once I got the job, I quickly sat down and figured out, how do I now make this work? Because rarely are things handed to you on a silver platter. Rarely are you promoted the way you are promoted in school, standard 1, standard 2, standard 3. That doesn't work in the real world. In the real world, one person can stay in the same job for 40 years and never be promoted. And another person can have 50 promotions in so one person, same job, 40 years. Another person, 1 year, 40 promotions. I mean, just for discussion's sake. So I think for me, I had a hunger to be able to tell more stories. And I felt like if I break away from sports, I could still tell sports stories, but at the same time, I could do others. And that for me was very key. Advice in regards to journalism. One, I think you need to understand what is happening in the media world. The media world is being heavily disrupted. It has been disrupted by social media. It has been disrupted by the global economy. It has been disrupted by changing trends. It has been disrupted by fake news. So that is the kind of field you are getting into. a long time ago, big media houses would hire everyone and anyone coming out of media colleges. That has changed. I'm seeing my colleagues going to start media outlets. John Alanamu is running a very good media outlet, Africa Uncensored. Asha Mwilu is running another very good one. Alex Chamwada, is that the new frontier? Do you want to start your own thing? If after a while you feel you're not getting where you want to get to, that's a question. Other people are going into content creation. They've decided, I studied journalism, but I want to be a content creator. I want to use Instagram. I want to use TikTok to give news, and I will look for advertisers. Others have decided that I still want to work for mainstream media, but I need an extra skill. I'll go and study data journalism. Or I will go to that mainstream media, but with another career. So I actually worked with a guy who was a doctor who went back to school and did journalism. And anytime there were health stories, that was a person to pick. I've worked with people that were architects, economists. They had added something to their education so that they would be able to flourish in a media environment. And so I would say to you, what is that extra thing that you have? What is that extra thing that you can do so that you have the edge as you transition into this new field, as you do what you need to do, and that's something that I would say to you. Finally, someone here who had a question, and this was the first question. Okay, your question is how to discuss a potential promotion with a manager on that. One is I would do a lot of reading. There's a lot of reading. There's a lot of Google material about how to discuss promotion. But in terms of tips, I would say one, you need a plan. And your plan needs to have an understanding of your manager's expectations and also how you have improved since you were hired. You were hired to do one job, you now do two, or you've worked harder. You need to be able to list that in a logical manner. It also helps, although maybe this is more in the Western world, but we can try and push it here, to know your market value and the average value of the average time when people are due for promotion in your organization. If people are promoted after 2-3 years, it's a good case to put forward that, hey, I'm due for a promotion. I've worked for this amount of time. Can you help me? I would also say make a case for your promotion. Do not demand for your promotion. A demand will put your employer on the defensive. And when they are put on the defensive, things could go wrong. So make a case to your employer. Make it a very compelling case. I once sat in an interview where someone even came with data to show how well, it was an interview, but they came to ask for a promotion. They came with the numbers of how well things had worked under them, how much money they were bringing the company in, how much money they had saved the company, what difference they had made. And I can tell you, it was a very compelling case, and that person got their promotion. I hope I've helped you, but go to Google. There are case studies. There are even case studies of what you should say, how to introduce the topic, the best time. For me, Google has become very helpful together with ChatGPT, for those of you who've been able to use that platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Wahiga, once again for answering the question so well and with so much soberness. Thank you. Really, really grateful. Now we are coming to the end of this conversation, and we continue to appreciate you, Wahiga, because I remember when this year began, we were having a chat and I was telling you what really is in my heart in terms of creating a platform for young people to receive mentorship and just to continuously build themselves, because we are living in a world with too much information, but most of it's not helping us in terms of where we need to go and how we need to become. And of course, it's I know we of course have been updating you on the progress of that, and we are looking forward actually to be hosting the Lake Academy April edition on the 29th of April, and we're going to be talking about leveraging on social capital in personal leadership, entrepreneurship, and career development. And it's so nice because you have mentioned the place of networking and social capital in this world that we are living in. I'll just love you to mention something shortly about that, even as we come to an end of this conversation. What role has social capital played in your own career development and who you have become today? Because you're one of the most respectable journalists, so to say, and we have seen you on your craft and all that. But even as we talk about that, how then do we find fulfillment in all that we do, so that we are not chasing so much into a career and all that, and then we forget about our own personal care? How has that routine played out for you, so that you do not compartmentalize your life and work on one and forget the other?
Oh, that's a very good question you put across. Social capital, of course, I mainly think about it as the networks of relationships, one with people I live with, two with people I work with in a particular society. Okay, on one hand, the people you work with are not your family. As much as we call ourselves family where you work, the truth of the matter is you are hired on different days, you will live on different days, okay? So you must always have that awareness, because sometimes in the workplace or in the real world, you need to make hard decisions, okay? But that doesn't mean that you cannot grow good relations, okay? Relations that are tied around one respect. I respect everyone, from the cleaner to the gardener to the domestic worker to the, you name it, to the CEO, okay? Same level of respect. The second thing I would say is that you are able to work as a team. And when people see you as a team player, they are more likely to recommend you for promotion, for new opportunities. I think people also need to respect your work ethic. You're a timekeeper. You are diligent in what you do. You look out for and think of others, amongst other things. And so for me, social capital is so crucial because we live in a social world. And sometimes the decisions around promotion and opportunities and demotion and all those things are not made from a logical perspective, but from an emotional perspective. And relationships influence emotions, okay? So your next promotion might come, yes, because you've worked hard, and it's very important, but also because you've worked well with others. Your new job might come because somebody saw you performing in church or performing at a festival, and they were impressed by how you carried yourself and how polite you are, or honorable, or whatever it is, you name it. And so for me, social capital is so important in this world. I invest a lot in it. Also just being kind to others, taking part in group activities. You never know. You might go to someone's house, they have a family function, and you hear of a new job in your workplace coming soon, and you apply, and you get it. You may not have known how good that job is if you had not gone for that event. And so, social capital is as important as all the other capitals that we employ in the world that we now live in. And I would urge you to invest in it. Networking, people skills, so important, because if you want to grow in your workplace, you probably at some point will either manage a team or collaborate with a team. How do I know when to say yes? How do I know when to say no? How do I know how to quickly read the communication languages of certain people so that I know how to manage them? There's a lot around that. And so please invest in understanding people, because you cannot work alone unless you go to space.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And on that note, I just want to invite you guys to all of you, if you have not registered, we are inviting you to register for Lake Academy February edition that is coming up. That is coming up on the 29th. I think that is the poster. We'll be having Mr. Mwenesi Musalia, who is an image consultant and a corporate trainer. We'll also be having, just trying to make it a bit larger. Yeah, we'll also be having Nyawira Gashugi, who is a TV host at KTN Home, and she's also an author and a lead strategist at Taura Communications. And then we'll be having Brian Mwao, who is a lead developer at Ajiri App. And the charges are 350 shillings for students and 500 shillings for non-students. And the registration is still on. This event is happening next week on Saturday from 9. Actually, we are going to start from 9 a.m. this time because of one of the requests by the speaker. So we will be sharing more information concerning that. But we want to appreciate all those who have registered so far. So we're inviting you guys to register, even as we just come and have a conversation around it and share moments and just continue developing ourselves and even increasing our capacity as far as building a social network and networking is concerned. Thank you so much, Dalmas, for sharing that. At this point, Mr. Wahiga, we are coming to an end. I don't know if you have any words of conclusion, even as we come to a close of this conversation, because you have touched quite on so much. I've been typing my notes, and it's almost a whole page. And I'm just so grateful because of being generous with the information for us this evening.
I would finally say that life is a learning journey. Keep learning. I look forward to all of you achieving your dreams. Eugene inviting all of you to some of his big platforms in the future to share what you've learned. But I would also say that we live in a world very different from the one our parents grew up in and our grandparents. We have to adapt new skills, new learning, be very savvy on social media, be a people person to make it. But we also have to guard our faith. We have to guard our mental health. We have to guard our relationships and our families, our health and the mental health also. You work out, make sure today I went to the gym because I want to prosper in my health, even as I prosper in other ways, just so that can happen. And finally, I wish you success, whether in Kenya or abroad. You can do it, is how I'll wrap it up. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Wahiga. I think as we come to an end, I'll just request you to make a prayer. Someone was actually making a comment that they love the way you have balanced life and not really balanced, the way your spirituality is so evident in all that you do and in all that you say. So in the same spirit, we just request you just to pray for us, even as we come to a closure. We also an organization that respects and honors God and allow Him to help us do all that we have been able to do. So we are requesting you to pray for these cohort members who have joined us today, and even for us as an organization as we continue to doing this work.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for an opportunity to speak on life, on career, on purpose, and on faith. I pray for every young person, young man, young lady gathered here. I pray that you have enabled me to speak something that had stirred up something in their hearts. May they not leave this meeting disillusioned, disheartened by what they've had. May they leave encouraged and charged to go out and be the best version of themselves that they can be in their faith, in their work, in everything that they do. Lord, help them, because you are the lifter of men, especially where they have no other help. I pray for the founder of this forum, Eugene, that for the lives he has empowered, may you empower him double. For the lives he has changed, may you change his. And may you help him to be an example for his generation, together with his team that works so tirelessly to put these events together. May you take them from glory to glory, because you honor those who help. You honor those who lift up others, and he has lifted up so many through this platform that he runs, Lord God. We thank you so much for a time like this, and we look forward to many great days ahead of learning, and impact will come out of that. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Wahiga. We really appreciate your time and just creating this time to be with us today. We are really honored and grateful, and sincere gratitude to you.
I'm honored for the opportunity, Eugene. Once again, thank you so much. And I hope to physically be at your forum, and we'll talk about that. Thank you once again.
Wow, it will be an honor. Thank you so much. God bless you so much. We wish you well together with your family. May God bless you. And we look forward to hosting Joyce. We'll talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And thank you so much, Mr. Wahiga. Thank you so much. I think it's been one of the best and fruitful conversations we have had today. I don't know what is your take home. I don't know if we can even just get to hear from maybe only 2 people. If you're bodacious enough and you love to just unmute your mic and say, I think I came while having this perspective about life, and I'm going to leave with this perspective about life. I don't know if there is anyone who love to share the experience and what they have learned from this conversation. Anyone, you can just lift up your hand, and then I'll be able to pick you up from this other end as we come to a conclusion. Anyone, any person? Yeah, I can see Lenny, your hand is up. You can just unmute yourself and talk to us. Hi, how are you doing? Yes, can hear you. Hello. I think we have lost you.
Have you?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Sorry, Lenny, I think your internet is not very stable. Can we pick on Ben Wambungu? Ben, you can just unmute your mic and talk to us. Ben, if you're able to unmute your mic, I can see your hand is up. Okay. Rosemary, you can unmute your mic and talk to us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, who is that? That is Rosemary. Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah. So from all this, from Mr. Muhiga's attitude, I got that we as young people tend to give ourselves so much pressure to think that we're supposed to achieve something at a certain age. And I feel like it's the society has made it like that. From the way he's talking, and of course he was also like, he had a career path and then he just didn't like it and all that. And it's just encouraging to think that now at his age, he's like so relaxed about these career things. He's like talking about it as if like that was just a small segment of his life. And now that we're young, we're just from the uni, we feel like that's our whole life depends on that. So yeah, from here, I gather that, just leave, take it easy. It comes and goes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rosemary. And thank you for those good sentiments. Geoffrey, your hand is up. You can just do it shortly in less than a minute. Geoffrey, if you are able to hear me. All right, let's go to Sally. I can see your hand is up, Sally. You can unmute your mic.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Hope everyone is well here. Actually, it's a pleasure being with you here today. It's such an honor being with Mr. Wahiga. He's a great man indeed. Well, he has talked of diversifying. I think that's one thing I've realized it's quite outstanding with these mentors that we've been meeting. Diversifying. One line. If you're it does not mean you only be in a classroom. If you can do something else, you can serve and have the fulfillment or an impact to somebody, go ahead, because you don't know if that will lead you to your next purpose. And he also said that our purpose changes with seasons, which is something very important. We shouldn't restrict ourselves, but we should be able to take up whatever challenge that comes, for we don't know where it will lead us next. Actually, that's one of the points that has really touched me. I need to diversify as a young person, be restricted to one line.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Sally. It was also good to see you in the Lake Academy March edition. Lenny saying, glad I joined the call. Has served as a wake-up call to travel some paths alone. Happy to have experienced Wahiga away from what I can see, away from TV. Good job, Okanda. Many have been impacted because of your social capital. Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, it's an honor. One of the things I committed myself to do is to use my social networks for others, so that we're able. And if you want to meet Wahiga Mwaura, he'll actually be coming for Lake Academy April edition. He'll be there, so just come. And please, let's continue to invest in our personal growth and development. Guys, nothing falls on a silver platter. You have to keep building, and you have to build relentlessly. So I continue to ask you guys to consider that. What happens for the people who cannot be able to attend the physical meeting and want to join Lake Academy? Yeah, we are working on a live stream, which of course I'll be giving an update by Monday. If that is going to be possible, we are really trying to do all these things to help those who cannot be able to be here physically to partake of the program. But if that is not possible, we'll also see the alternative of what we will need to do going forward. So don't you worry. So I think that is okay. We'll close at that. If you have not registered for Lake Academy. If you have not registered for Lake Academy April edition, we invite you to register. Please, a link has been shared on the chat box. Go ahead and register. If you're also not part of the Lake Academy WhatsApp group, please make sure you join the WhatsApp group. Tomorrow, we are going to open it up for people to share what they do. So if you run a business, if you are possibly doing something out there that you love the people to know what you do, we'll be giving an opportunity for people to do that. And it will only be happening either on Saturday or on Sunday, so that we keep that platform specifically for what it's meant for. But we'll also be giving opportunities for people to post job opportunities, whatever you are doing and all that, so that we're also able to keep on growing each other. So thank you so much. At this point, I will also want to appreciate the team that is behind their laptops working and making sure there is a live stream. And I don't know, Dalmas, if there is any comment from the people who are following us on, who are following this conversation on YouTube. Maybe you can just give a comment on that, Dalmas.
Okay. Hi, Okanda, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
No, currently we don't have any comment from YouTube. You're on mute, sorry.
Sorry. Thank you, Dalmas. We appreciate your effort together with the rest of the team that is working tirelessly. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's so much content that will be coming up, so keep your eyes on that so that you're so able to keep on growing. So thank you so much. God bless you all. I love you all, and I continue to pray that God will continue to affirm that which He's doing in your life. Please don't quit on yourself. Don't compare yourself with anyone. But if you can do one thing every day when you wake up, keep on working on yourself, because one time you will stand before God and give an account of how you lived. So thank you so much from we the Unlocking Leaders Summit. We truly appreciate your effort to be here. God bless you so much. Have a good night. Shalom.